Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and today we're doing episode 8 of Making College PDFs Accessible. In this episode, we're going to look at Fresno City College. Let's start off today's journey by going to Fresno City's college website, and in the search bar, I'm simply going to search for PDF. Let's change this drop down to date so we have a more recent document. Let's open up this first biomedical tech and let's download it. Then we're going to open the file and voila. Let's open up the tags panel. Looks like we have a document tag. We have a couple of tables in here for some reason. Another table with a whole bunch of different blank containers. And we've got a reading order that's a little bit out of whack. That's all right. Let's go ahead and jump in here and start making this accessible. The first thing I'm going to do is open up my reading order tool and let's start tagging some of this content because right now it's like nested inside of a table cell. So I'm just grabbing this text, marking it as text using the reading order tool to get it out of where it currently is. We then have these separate fields we can do. I have to turn off some of these settings so that I can see what I'm actually grabbing. And I'm just having a little bit of faith that this is working appropriately, and it should be. Select text. Okay, now let's go back into the tags panel and see what we got. Okay, we still have some issues. That's okay. We've got figure tag. And then our next text that we need to have is this electrical systems. And I'm just expanding these tags out so that I can find all of the relevant pieces. All right, so I expanded out that content from the tags tree. I'm going to select the content I want to move, Control X on my keyboard, and paste it under that figure tag, which I don't know why there's a figure tag there. I'm going to select these paths, right-click them, and change tag to artifact, and select page. So sometimes you just get some funky information in the document. All right, I still don't love that this is the first thing read. Electrical systems technology, biomedical equipment. So I'm actually going to take all of those containers and move them under a single P tag and then mark that tag as an H1 element. That seems like an appropriate thing to do. Oh, we can actually move 2023, 2024 in there too. Again, we have this content inside of a table that doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to hold my control key to expand that window all the way out. And what I'm doing visually is looking in the tags panel for the text. And I found it here. I'm going to Control X those tags, paste them under my H1 tag, and then I need to also artifact these containers. So there's some blank spaces here, but if I were to just delete them on my keyboard, it would make some problems it'll say like tag content not failed. So this is a crucial step. So select those containers, right click, change tag to artifact. Now it's also important to note that if I would have selected the P tags instead of the containers here, it wouldn't give me the option to create this artifact. So something to just think about. Now I can select the table tag again, and I have no pink cursory boxes anywhere on the screen. That means nothing is selected in this table tag, and then I can choose to delete it. All right, now we have our reading order is just a little bit out of whack. So we've got this H1, and let's move the name under H1. Let's find D. I don't see ID tagged at all. That's okay. Let's take our reading order tool. We'll grab the word ID and select tag. Now let's see if it went somewhere. Sometimes that option doesn't always work, and that appears to be the case here. Let's try it again. I'm going to right click, create a new tag, a P tag in the tags panel. I'm then going to use my mouse to select that content on the page. Oh, I actually have to select the blank tag first and then the content on the page. And then in the options button, I'm going to select create tag from selection. There we go. That got it in the right location. P tag, P tag, P tag. I'm going to change this to an H2 just because it looks important. We then have a table. We have some blank tags here, blank containers that I'm going to select, right click. Whoops. I meant to say change tag to an artifact. Okay. I really should just stick to the order here. So we need to add form fields. That's what we need to do. So how do I want to do this? I guess let's finish up the table. I don't know if we're going to be finishing it, but let's see. I am expanding this content because I noticed the blank containers in here, and I just like to get those out. I just think they're so annoying that I like to focus on it like right away. And then I delete the blank p tags. All right, so this table row looks good as a table header. Let's check out the next row. We have another table header cell. Are all of these? For some reason, every cell in this is marked as a header. All right, so we need to update some of these. It looks like it's the last cells of the row. So I can do some creative clicking by expanding the table row. I'm selecting each TH cell with holding my control key down and then holding the shift key down. I'm able to select multiple cells at one time. But if I talk too much while I do it, I'm going to mess myself up. All right, so now I have all of these blank cells selected. They're all currently marked as table headers. I'm gonna right click them, select properties, and then we're changing it to a table data cell. I'm gonna select close, and that's good for now. We can update this p tag to an H3. And what we need to do is add in form fields. So let's see that. My brain is not fully functioning today, so I'm talking funny. All right, we need to find prepare a form. So prepare a form option is in the tools panel. We're going to say, yeah, let's do this file. And it says, hey, do you want to save this before you start? And we're going to say, hey, voila. And it looks like it put in our form fields. That's awesome. So sometimes the prepare for option is like the worst thing ever created in Adobe Acrobat. And then sometimes it works pretty darn good. So let's check it out. We have our name field, ID, date, counselor contact. Perfect. We've got CID, biology 5, human biology. Perfect. Completed number 4. Oh, we need to update some tooltips. So let's get back into the prepare a form option and let's come in here. So these aren't bad necessarily. It's more like we need to give them better names. Interesting that they're fillables. We might need checkboxes here, but you know what? I'm just going to leave them for now. Properties, and we're going to say, have you completed, or I'll say bio 5 completed, question mark. But I should put something more accurate, like have you completed biology 5? And I'm going to copy that tooltip, and we're going to just go down the list, properties. But this one's not biology 5. It's have you completed EST 55A, digital concepts. Close, and then we're just going to go down the list. Completed again, right click, properties, update the tooltip, paste, and then replace with the appropriate class. Digital communications. This is going to take a while. So now the unfortunate thing, there's really no fast way to do this. Click properties, EST 60, A plus. All right, I'm getting through the list here. EST 84A, introduction to biomedical electronics. Okay, so now I have to do all of the in progress and all of the planned. You know what I would like to do is like remove these 3 fields because it could have just been one. Like, you know, is this in progress completed, or and you could have chose from a drop down menu instead of make. That's okay. We're gonna go back to the top of in progress, right click properties and update the tooltip. And we're going to say bio 5 in progress, question mark. There's lots of different ways that you could do these tooltips. EST55A in progress. And sometimes you want to be aware of how much text you have area, EST57A, because we don't want to bog down our user by having to read unnecessarily long text in the tooltip. And we're just humming along, one of these at a time. All right, now we're moving on to the planned. We're gonna right click, select properties. And I'm writing the course name and then planned question mark. Again, there's probably a more efficient way to name these tooltips, but we're also going to have a table that has accessible row and column headings. So we're really giving them a lot of options to navigate this content. EST57B planned. EST57C planned. Oh, it's also very important that you hit the close button because otherwise it won't save. If I were to just click another tag, it would just replace it with what it had. EST60 planned. Oh, you know what this, they're probably wanting the semester in. Well, they should definitely put that information in here because I had to come to that conclusion on my own. EST83A planned. Right click the last one and we have EST84A planned. All right, goodness, that was a lot of form fields. You know what I'm not excited about is the next step that we got. So the next thing we have to do, well, let's slow down, Sean. Okay, we're gonna save the file first and let's go ahead and run the accessibility checker in Adobe Acrobat. Start checking, and what do we got? Aha. So I knew this was going to happen, but first, let's apply some alt text to this logo. So this is just in the accessibility checker. I'm going to right click the figure tag, select fix, and we will say Fresno City College logo and select save and close. All right, I knew this was going to happen. When we use that auto tagging thing, basically it places the form fields into the PDF, but they're not tagged. So yeah, we got to tag them. And sometimes this auto tag forms feature works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to take my chances though. I'm going to save the file and reopen it. And really, if you've ever ran into that problem before, take a second to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. Let's do it. All right, I just reopened the file. Let's go to the prepare for accessibility option. Aha, now the option is there to add form fields. Let's see what happens when I select this button. All right, we're gonna check the tags panel and I don't see any form fields. Do you? I see a bunch of empty containers now. It's a liar. My form fields are not tagged. All right, so there's a couple of different ways we can get the form fields in here. How much pain do we want? Let's see. I'm gonna start with the name tag. So I just have the P tag selected and we have to open up the options button and then we're going to select find and we're going to select unmarked annotations and we're going to search the document and it should take us to each one of these form fields to tag it. So let's select find. There it is. We're going to tag that element. Now it probably puts that content in the right location. It didn't put it in a form container though, which is frustrating because that's necessary for PDF UA and WCAG, but I digress. I'm just going to simply select tag element over and over. All right, find next. We're just going to hit tag element each time. And then the fun part of this job is now we have to create form placeholders and move all of this content. So fun, right? Let's just jump in. Got an H1 tag. Let's find this name. All right, name's already there. So let's open up this ID, right click, select new tag. We need to put in a parent form tag, and then we need to actually find the ID tag. Looks like it went in reverse order. That's good for us. We're gonna drag that form field object reference down into the correct location, and let's keep going. We need to add in a parent form field find the correct object reference and move it to the right location. We've got counselor contact, right click, new tag, form parent. We've got counselor contact, move that in. All right, this is where it's gonna start not being that fun, is we have these locations that we need to place all of these form fields. So I'm going to actually go through and try to open up these containers where I know there's going to be a form field. So in this very first row, we have all of these empty containers. I'm just going to select them, right click, change tag to artifact. And now we have some placeholders. We can actually just select these p tags that were there. Did I miss one in this one? Oh wait, that one's not fillable. All right, we're gonna select these p tags, right click, select properties, and change them to form. This is like a, I guess you could call it faster method. I don't really know if that's true or not, but now what I'm doing is I'm simply clicking and dragging the most recent form object reference because they were put in reverse order. So what I'm trying to say is it's easy for me to grab the right object references when doing this particular method of where I am expanding the cells using my arrows and then doing these steps. So again, I've just been doing this a long time and this is what works for me. Let's change these to artifacts. We're then going to select those p tags, right click, select properties, form. And what this mitigates is the need for me to create all of those forms. By doing it this method, I'm sort of saving some of the content. Now the problem is you got to be real careful not to misclick in because it's really easy to make this content disappear on accident. And one of the unfortunate things of the tags panel here also is that it could be really easy to be too far expanded, and then I'm going to have to scroll to get these things in the right spot. And as you can see, this is super time consuming. A lot of companies out there opt to not pay for this type of service, and that's fine, but as you can see, even as someone that knows what they're doing in here, it's time consuming. And so if you don't know what you're doing, it can get really challenging really quickly. And that's not saying, you know, people on your staff and that's not saying people on your staff can't do this work. It's just like if you're ever trying to show your boss why it takes so long to do this type of work, this is a shining example. So we just have to suffer through all of this. We're going to right click, change tag to artifact. Here we go again. Going to add in these form parent tags, and we're just going to move each one of these child containers to the right location. And again, because of the way that I created or tagged all of these form object references, they go in order. It may seem kind of confusing at first, like what order are you talking about? But they are in reverse order from when I put them in. And so it just allows me to grab the next one above name. So when I'm visually tracking, it's quick for me to be able to grab the right one. All right, kind of galloping through the tags tree. We've got these container tags we need to select. Right click, change tag to artifact page, select the p tags, right click, select properties, type in the word form, hit enter, select close. By the way, if that feels like I'm speeding up the video, I'm not. I'm just doing that. And then we're going to drag each one of these elements back into their house. And what I'm looking for when I'm dragging is that little tiny line. I'll try to point it out here, where if it's a big line, it's going to go under the form field and I might lose the object. But if it's a little line, it's going to be nested as a child tag inside of that. All right, we've got a few more to go. Expanding the cells where I'm going to replace the content. And really, why this is the most efficient is because I'm just knocking out so many steps. You might be thinking like, what's the point of changing them to artifacts or changing these form field things? I mean, the main reason is saving time. I'm hoping that it's not going to tell me I need to nest all of these form fields inside of a p tag, but there is a... All right, let's just keep doing this step for now. Sloppy. Gotta make sure you're grabbing the right one. A couple more to go. We're gonna select all these empty container tags. Right click, change tag to artifact page. Select the p tags. Right click, select properties, type in form, hit enter, close. Find our remaining tags. So I gotta be honest. I know these tables and forms are so popular. Man, do they stink to make accessible. It's just a lot of effort. It really is. There's no way around. That's okay. Right click, artifact page, p tag, p tag, p tag. Right click, properties, form, enter. And I think this is the last one. So we're just gonna drag this content down. If you don't want to drag, you could cut and paste, but I think that I've had more problems cutting and pasting. Granted, if the table was twice as big or we had 100 pages of this, I certainly would put the effort in finding out. All right, so that appears to be done. Let's see where we're at. Let's run the accessibility checker. We're gonna start checking alt text, hides annotation. I think the ultimate thing here is that I need to put all of those form fields inside of it. That's what it is. Let's just try one. Run the accessibility. The problem is I don't know. Oh, there's 32. All right, I gotta fix another one. And what we're looking for is a reduction from 32 errors. Actually, I'm gonna do a couple. Let's do this first. P tag, move the form inside the P tag. All right, now we'll save the file, go back to the accessibility checker, and we're looking for a reduction in errors. So I'm gonna right click, check again. That is not giving. Let's right click the first one and have it show tag. Oh, what the heck? All right. So after searching in the accessibility checker, I was like, all right, what's hides annotation? I'm gonna right click and select show in tags panel, and it takes me to the table. So there's some problem here, and let's find out what it is. I'm gonna right click the table tag and select properties. And right now it has alt text for images. I'm going to delete that because there shouldn't be alternate text for images on a table tag. I'm gonna select close, save the file. Let's run the accessibility checker again. Right click, check again. Wow, that's crazy. So it created 32 errors there. So earlier when I was creating those extra p tags inside of the cells to house the form tags, I did not need to do that for Adobe Acrobat. But let's see what else we got in here. So far, this is now mostly accessible from in Adobe Acrobat. Let's set our document properties. I'm gonna select the menu button, select document properties, go to description. Author will be Fresno City College. Author will be the accessibility guy. And we can put in here certificate requirements and select OK. Let's save the file, and I guess let's get ourselves into some trouble and launch the PAC 2021 tool. And friendly reminder to hit that subscribe button if you're still following with me. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, so share this video with your friends. All right, and here is my file. Wait, that one doesn't seem right. This is my file. Okay, let's see what we got in here. Wow, not too bad though. Really just a couple of errors. I bet I know what they are, but let's check them out. So structure elements, under logical structure, we have annotations, nesting of widget annotations, widget annotation not nested inside of a form structure element. That looks like name, the very first one I did. Sure enough, right click, new tag. We're gonna type in the word form, and we're just gonna drag that object reference inside of the form field. And the other one was the PDF UA identifier. So let's open up the print production tool, select pre-flight, and let's use the wrench icon there and type in UA. And we've got set PDF UA1 entry, select fix, save the file, and let's run it again in the PAC tool. There we go. We've got a PDF UA accessible PDF. So working with that PDF was definitely not my favorite due to the complexity of having the form fields not even added into the PDF. nor was the structure really even considered when posting that PDF. I'm giving this document the accessibility guy PDF score of a 0 out of 10. There's a lot more work they could have done in making that document compliant. If you want to find out how I can help you get accessible, check out the links below this video and let me be your personal accessibility expert. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.